he actually spoke about peace in a reverse manner, which was very intriguing. Justice may not necessarily bring peace, was his proposition. Taking a cue from him, may I submit that justice is probably born of peace with just one extra addition, and that is true peace. And of course, we've seen various attempts at defining what peace is and what are its lineaments and dimensions, etc. Now, in all this, I was very struck. I also want to talk about how happy and proud I am by the presentations made by two daughters here. First one is Janani, and the second one is, shall I call you Sripriya or should I call you Miss Menon or Dr. Menon? Sripriya, it's fine. Both of them really shook the debate beautifully. First, because Janani spoke about formation of attitudes in the child and the influence that parents have, which is wielded sometimes a little too offhandedly. And this is not to say that, we should blame parenting or we should blame the child or whatever. This is the way we are. And this is actually, there's a deeper biological truth hidden in this. And this is, we are precocious. Human brains would not be accommodated by normal birth if they were attained in the womb. So, they have to be grown outside the womb. This is a biological reality, and there's a term for it in science. Yours truly being a science editor, allow me the liberty, and it's called, we are altricial. Altricial is helpless at birth, like birds. They need to be fed, they need to be taken care of. This is the birth of family actually, which separates us from non-human primates, where both the parents have to look after the generation, and this is what leads to Homo sapiens, smart humans with brains that are able to make and conceive of the ideas, even revolutionary ideas. Now, that being said, familial values, whether they are practiced in Iran or Iraq or Pakistan or Kashmir or Kanyakumari, they have necessarily to be of a universal, humane dimension. And that, I think, is the central core proposition, where we recognize the commonality of humanity. And saying this seems facile, but the most powerful indicator of that is the color of blood when you hurt somebody. It's the same as that flows within your veins. And we are so caught up in passions and sometimes with power play or whatever that we forget this. Now, having said that, let me also come to Sripriya's marvel of statistics that you spoke about, where you spoke about suicide versus war deaths. And the suicide figure was so immense that it is mind-boggling that, if in 31 years 7 lakhs have died due to war, recorded deaths. I recognize that there can be, but suicide taking such a huge toll. May I share that this was the reason that when we chose to relaunch Science Today, which is a magazine produced by the Times of India Group, we eschewed all positive and starry-eyed and Carl Sagan sort of topics, and we chose to write on suicide. Mukul Sharma was the editor at that time, and I was in charge of writing the story. And I tell you, when I delved into it, I realized that we need not one story, but almost every week we need something. And of course, my significant other being with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, I was also aware of the attempts being made by people such as Swamiji also. But the problem is so vast that I think we need initiatives repeatedly by spiritual thought leaders and path breakers to renew the message and innovations in this, in the packaging of the message, in seeking reconciliation. Forget the definitional politics, forget the difficulty of discourse. I think this is a subject that cannot become boring. It is essential if we have to continue to have sanity. And this brings me to the core of what I am saying. True peace is really the nature of beings, actually, but it is also, I think, you spoke from the Kashmiri perspective about how, a peaceful community can also be very warlike when it, interacts with the so-called other. And this I spoke yesterday about Richard Wrangham's goodness paradox thesis at the Harvard University. So, it is not that you will find solutions that are foolproof, that they will have to be practiced because society is constantly in evolution. And I would say India is a good news story so far, compared to the track record of so many economies that have struggled in times of COVID. I think what India has achieved collectively is a miracle. And this needs to be separated because there is a long tradition. And here I would like to be very thankful to Professor Madhavan for giving us such a scintillating presentation of the wisdom of the Tamil people. Now, these are favorite people of mine. As a technology editor, I know their prowess in solving the world's software problems. They are also good at solving hardware problems. And this Uttira Marur, inscription is an example that needs to be spread. I've already been in touch with my colleagues in the Asiatic Society, and we want to re-invite you to the Darbar Hall, because this needs to be taken even to Calcutta. And because this is a message that we can govern ourselves beautifully, and the mistakes that are committed, the way they are, perhaps the ways of punishment need to be revisited. But it was a pleasure, and this is just an example of the kind of stimulation for thinking that we have received. And I've already approached many people, as Sripriya suggested, for possible contributions for the larger audience, maybe in a slightly different format. But I'll be very happy to help in any way that I can. And with these, I want to thank you for your kind attention. There's lots more we can speak about, but we have time and space. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Swami.